It is a crossover episode. I'll be spending this episode with Robyn Leaño from Locked On Utah Hockey Club as we talk about and break down the Ducks' victory over Utah in overtime at the Pandas home opener. All of that on this edition of Locked On Anaheim Ducks.
You're Locked On Ducks, your daily podcast on the Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome one and all to this special crossover episode. Utah Hockey Club, Anaheim Ducks, Locked On Utah Hockey Club, Locked On Anaheim Ducks. Tom Callahan is off today, but I am your host, Robyn Leaño, alongside the host of Locked On Anaheim Ducks, Jason Hernandez, as we recap this 5-4 game in favor of Anaheim in overtime. And Jason, I just want to let you know that pregame yesterday, I went and told all of my listeners after listening to us in the morning to listen to you.
I did have a preview on this game, and I did kind of call a little bit what was going to happen. I said the big guns needed to show up. Troy Terry did show up. Trevor Zegras did show up. There was one guy that I did not expect to show up, which we will talk about in a little bit. But what a win for the Anaheim Ducks. By the way, their 9th consecutive home opener victory. 9 in a row. Can you imagine?
That's really interesting. Yeah, I didn't actually think about that. I should have looked into that historical thing, because that does adds a little extra element.
I will give just my 2 cents. Part of that is the strength of the 21st Duck, which I talked about on my podcast yesterday.
Yeah, certainly. I think that definitely makes a difference, right? Taking a look at what the fan base does. We've only gotten one game to take a look at what the home crew can do for Utah, but we'll see. We'll have to see. They were only on the road for the last 4 games. They had their 5 games in, 1 game at home, and then 4 games on the road, including 3 in New York.
Small sample size. The Ducks have only played 3 games. We had to wait around for everyone else to play, apparently. Don't worry, the Ducks will play catch-up soon and win games.
Are you sure about the win games part? Nah, whatever. But no, it was a.
You're not going to do this to me. You're not going to bait me today. I'm going to try to be good. I haven't even mentioned the capital city of Arizona yet.
Those that don't know, if you're new to it, Jason and I have a close personal relationship, but we have a friendly rivalry when it comes to talking between our 2 teams.
Yes, let's put it that way. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Can I give my big takeaway first?
Yes, go ahead.
Before talking about probably Utah's big takeaway, because there's a couple for Utah probably. My big takeaway, and I'm just going to yell this to the entire arena. I'm here live at Acrisure Arena. So you already know what I'm going to say. I'm going to say it. Let the kids play! And the Ducks did. Pavel Mintyukov with 2 big goals, including a fluky tying goal, and that filthy, filthy game-winning overtime goal by Leo Carlsson. The nice deke on Connor Ingram that won the game for the Ducks. Youth is serving very well for Anaheim already. When I look at, who got all the points, Zegras, very young, obviously. McTavish, 2 points on this one. Leo Carlsson, 2 points on this one. Yeah, they looked very good, by the way. And obviously you have the really young guys. I'm enjoying watching this development for the Ducks, and I cannot wait to see more of this. I want more, as Ariel would say in Little Mermaid. So, youth serving well. Yeah, let's keep at it. This core is good.
You always got to love a team that has a good young core. Again, you got to appreciate that. Utah is one of them. They have a really, really, really solid young core. And I've been talking about it. Both Tom Callahan, my co-host Tom Callahan, and I have been preaching the youth of this team and how it's going to really help them out. And in so many ways, Dylan Guenther always going to be quote Dylan Guenther. Logan Cooley still doing as is always getting in his assists, getting in those point numbers. And he keeps going more and more and more. And I'm like, this. There's a bright side to this team. Sure there is. But the bright side is you got a point. Yes, the Utah Hockey Club did get a point in this game. Obviously, a lot of us had predicted that it would be a really good rebound game for Utah after getting shut out by New Jersey. We figured, okay, they're going to rebound. They're going to feel better. They're going to get the win, finish the road trip, having won 3 out of 4 games.
They just lost to the better team. Just admit it.
That didn't happen. And here's the thing. And here's a takeaway I'm going to give you for Utah.
All right.
And that is, for me, it looks like very well, but they are trying to adjust, having to fill the minutes that are now going to be left in the gap from the injury to Sean Durzi. The defense took a massive hit with Sean Durzi being out. And again, and not to say Sean, a lot of people might even say Sean Durzi isn't great defensively, but he still does add a lot to the blue line. He is a great puck-moving defenseman. He does he does his job well of what he needs to do. And again, he is a top-paired defenseman alongside Mikhail Sergachev. You take one of those two out, you having someone try to fill in their minutes. Robert Bortuzzo trying to come in and fix that, and then Patrick Koch being called up from the Tucson Roadrunners to again add that try to reshore up the depth. That still doesn't add things up. You cannot fill the minutes left by Sean Durzi, and I feel like they felt that.
Yeah, they definitely did. I'm a big fan of Sean Durzi, by the way. He's always been an excellent puck mover. He's decent defensively, so you can't say that he's horrible defensively, but he's decent enough. He'll get the job done. But taking away that creativity on the blue line, especially someone of Sean Durzi's capabilities, I did notice it. I mean, the one defenseman that was very noticeable for Utah was obviously Michael Kesselring, who's spent a lot of time in the AHL, if I remember correctly. But Kesselring looked good, but then to fill in those other minutes, you have Kolyachonok, who didn't play a whole lot tonight. Just from, I try to watch, as much as possible, because I was working the Firebirds game, obviously. But trying to play catch-up, we're recording this, at about almost midnight, by the way. So I did actually catch up and see some of the game on Victory Plus. He was one of the only guys, Kolyachonok, that I did not notice at all. And if you're a defenseman that's not noticeable, that's a bad thing. That's a very bad thing.
It is. But I will add this. I think, to me, Kolyachonok has always been, a bottom pair, just kind of fill in the minutes. But at the same time, you're right. Even no matter what, as a defenseman, you have to be noticeable. You kind of have to put your body out there and really do what you can to stop the puck from those high danger areas. And
yeah, but there was none of that. There was no blocked shots. Looking at the stats, he was the only defenseman that didn't get a blocked shot. Everyone else did their job. Cole did his job. Sergachev certainly did his job. Kesselring obviously did his job. Kolyachonok was invisible. So that's where you're missing Sean Durzi quite a bit on the blue line.
It very much is so. And again, it did show. Like I said, even though Durzi wasn't huge defensively, it still showed based off that score sheet. It could have very well gone a different direction had he been in that game. Because we already know, it already showed us, Jason, that Utah's forwards have no issue scoring goals.
Okay, yes. I did make a prediction, by the way. I did predict before the game that a certain Keller would score a goal. I actually had the Ducks winning this one, but I didn't think it was going to be this close. I thought it would be something like 4-1 or 4-2 or 5-2. So I didn't see Utah getting that many goals. Keller's a terrific player, by the way.
Yeah.
Got to give credit where credit's due there. Dylan Genther is very speedy. Genther, I think, is one of those guys that deserves a little bit more playing time, and I get that your guys right now are getting the minutes they deserve. Hayden obviously deserves the minutes. Schmaltz deserves the minutes. Keller deserves the minutes. But Genther should be right up there as well. Genther should be getting 16, 17 minutes a night as well.
You mentioned his speed, but like also, and then here's the final point I want to bring out on about it before we kind of move on, is when it comes to Dylan Genther, is he's got the speed, but the moment you get the puck lands on his stick in the crease, he's taking a shot, and it's a rocket of a shot.
Mm-hmm.
We've already known this. Those that followed him, the WHL.
Okay, I'll talk. I'll let you cough for a second.
No,
So
I got it. I'm all good. But we've
Okay.
already known this, right? Dylan Genther, when the puck is on his stick, he's got an incredible shot.
Yes.
And it's a rocket of a shot. And if you have followed him since his WHL days,
Mm-hmm.
he's had the same thing over and over again.
Not that's a bad thing.
No, it's not. It's actually a good thing. It shows
Yeah.
that like nothing that he is what he was picked up for to be. He was picked up. He was drafted by the then Arizona Coyotes to be a goal scorer, and we're finally getting that. But albeit now a new name, new city.
Yeah, away from Phoenix. I got it in. Oh, don't look at me with that tone of voice, Robyn.
Anyways,
So-
we are going to. I'm going to get some more thoughts, and then we're going to kind of get to some rivalry talk about what's coming next for both of these teams. We're going to do that right after this. Hey guys, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So when you get in a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more, all in the same place where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. You don't even have to win the $5 bet. You just got to place it, and you get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed from betting on everything from the spread to the money line to your total points. Heck, if you're those hockey fans here listening, you can even bet on any NHL games, whether or not your favorite player is going to be an anytime goal scorer or your favorite goaltender is going to get more than 25 saves in the game. FanDuel has it all. Once again, it's on FanDuel.com, America's #1 sportsbook. And please gamble responsibly.
Welcome back to the Locked On Anaheim Ducks, Locked On Utah Hockey Club crossover edition. I'm Jason Hernandez, and that is Robyn Leaño right over there. And we are going to talk a little bit about rivalry stuff, but I do have some concerns moving forward. Actually, I'm going to save that for the third segment. Concerns moving forward for the Ducks, because there's a lot of concerns.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to, I guess, now I'm in the mood. I wasn't before. You tried to trick me. You tried to bait me, Robyn. We've been friends for a few years. But I cannot help but
Since
notice.
the Tucson Super Crossover.
It's ever since the first time that I made the Phoenix joke. That's when it started.
True. Yeah. Yeah.
But I couldn't help but notice that there's a little asterisk right there. I couldn't help that. And that got me thinking, this rivalry has been a little bit spicy over the last few seasons. We're going to go back to 2020, 2021. We can go back to the first game of Trevor Zegras, his career, was in Arizona. Yeah, this was a long time ago. And what happened? Zegras got benched. Then the game after that, the second time, Z was a little bit targeted. Then there was that whole incident with Troy Terry getting sucker punched. Zegras having the Michigan goal. Fans, players, announcers talking their ish. I'm being good. So this has been kind of brewing, kind of spicy. And now they up and move to Utah. Does that erase the memories of the past? No, it does not erase the memories of the past. You're still the Coyotes, but in a different clothing.
So it's I mean, you're right. I mean, there's a reason why I put a little asterisk next to where it says "start" to a rivalry, because the rivalry has already existed for those that kind of follow this team from Arizona, and again, a lot of the remnant Arizona fans who are followed the team to Utah, they know this already. But I put this up on here, Jason, because I put it in the conversation back a couple months ago. Tom Callahan and I were having a conversation of why these 5 teams may or may not be the biggest rival for Utah, and I made an argument of Anaheim being in that top 5 list because of the already pre-existing rivalry carrying over from Arizona. I knew it was going to happen because the players hate each other. They really do. And there's you can tell just from this game, no love lost. It's like they just they picked it right back up. It's like, yeah, we could tell the hate still here.
You think?
Penalty minutes, started racking up a little bit, and it really showed. Fun fact for you a little bit though is there still is the same television announcers from Arizona now in Utah. So I know you have some thoughts, but that's for another conversation maybe. But
I'm biting my tongue here. I'm holding back on that one.
One of them is intermission guy now, and then the other is the actual play-by-play.
Why? Ducks fans already hate him as it is.
Just the intermission. The guy I know who you're talking about. That guy's intermission.
Yep.
No.
I hate it. But going back to just the whole rivalry in general, yes, I could tell that there was already animosity. Now, some of the players had no flipping idea what was going on, but I could see some of the, I don't want to say older players, but, Cam Fowler kind of trying to mix it up a little bit. Radko Gudas definitely mixing it up a little bit, even though Gudas wasn't really part of that rivalry. But Fowler was.
Yeah.
And Fowler was definitely more than pissed off on a couple of occasions on this one, which good for him. Good for him getting pissed off. And you know who also kind of got into the mix a little bit was Cutter Gauthier, who I know some teams already hate. I have a feeling that Cutter Gauthier is going to be one of those guys that a lot of teams are going to hate, and I think Utah is going to be one of them. It's going to come fast, the hatred that is. So I look forward to that.
I mean, it's gonna be a good rivalry. Honestly, I think. Again, we've already the start to it has already happened years ago, and I think that's kind of what's going to make it awesome. It's going to make it intense and honestly really fun to watch. I love intense rivalries. Like I feel like you're not seeing as much anymore. Like even the historic rivalries that are out there, right? Like for some of them, like you might be like a team that gets beat up so much that is it even really a rivalry? But between Utah and Anaheim, even if there is a clearly better team in some cases, they are they're for some reason it's always a battle. It's always a battle.
It really stems from the Zegras Michigan incidents. That's what it really stems from. And some of the older heads on Utah, they don't forget that. They remember.
Oh yeah, no. Got Clayton Keller and Lawson Krause, like those guys, they're not going to take. They're not going to take it.
And yet they allowed Zegras that nifty assist on the second goal of the day.
It's funny because I actually made a joke reference to it in the pregame show, in the preview on Locked On Utah Hockey Club, Jason. I was like, what are the chances that Trevor Zegras is going to attempt another Michigan and Utah is all of a sudden going to get really, really, really upset about it again?
Oh, they wouldn't do that at home. I mean, he would do it up in Utah. He would. Hey, Zegras did have a flip pass for an assist today. And by the way, congrats to Robbie Fabry getting his first goal as an Anaheim Duck.
I told that name, when you mentioned that name, I was like, oh my God, he's still around. I'm shocked because I thought Fabry's career would be over based off of how many injuries the dude's had.
He's a fighter in more ways than one.
No credit to Robbie Fabry for getting there. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, he finally arrived in Anaheim with that goal.
Absolutely. But we're going to keep going on this episode of Locked On Utah Hockey Club and Locked On Anaheim Ducks. We're going to talk about what's coming up, what's coming next. Jason said he's got some concerns. Anything and everything, we're going to air it out right after this.
How's it going, everyone? And now a brief word from the Gametime app. And folks, if you haven't used Gametime yet, then what are you waiting for? Because you can have a new feature called Gametime Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. They filter out all the fluff, so you only have the incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. You could watch the Anaheim Ducks this coming weekend. You could see them play against the Los Angeles Kings, or a team that you might be familiar with, the San Jose Sharks. And those tickets are very, very well priced. And you know what? You could almost get in for free because there's a $20 off code at the end of this. But, going back to Gametime, you have zone deals, flash deals. You have views from your seats. It's an app that I use frequently. By the way, there's a certain baseball team that's on the playoffs. Definitely may have gone to one of those games. And where did I get that? From the Gametime app. So you know what you can do right now is take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, that's create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Terms apply. And look at that. You can check out the Anaheim Ducks against the Sharks for $31. Save $20. And that's, very, very well priced. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Game time.
This episode is also brought to you by PrizePicks. It's real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the only real money daily fantasy platform in over 30 that is also available in 30 states, over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, Texas, and yes, even Utah. Sign up today and get $50 when you play $5. You don't even need the win to receive the $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. And you can bet on everything. I just even made some personal bets myself on PrizePicks, some personal picks, I should say, on PrizePicks on this Anaheim versus Utah game. And I ended up cashing out. It was really convenient. I highly recommend you guys give it a shot. I used the promo code to get things started. Locked On NHL to get that $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. So download the app today and do that. Use that code. Once again, Locked On NHL to get $50 instantly after your first $5 lineup. That's LOCKEDON NHL. That is PrizePicks. Run your game.
All right. Welcome back to The Crossover, the Locked On Anaheim Ducks and Locked On Utah Hockey Club, not named yet. I'm not going to make those jokes yet, not till the end of the season. I have a preference for the name, but anyway, for now, Utah Hockey Club. I'm Jason Hernandez. That is Robyn Leaño. And I know we're going to talk about what's next, but Robyn, may I air out a couple of concerns for the Ducks first? Because I have a couple.
Okay.
So first, power play. The Ducks' power play is at least getting good movement, but they're just not finishing right now. I just saw a game with the Firebirds and Wranglers, and finishing is a big part of it. I mean, you talk about getting as close to a goal as possible. You're right there along the goal mouth. You have a couple of errant pucks just go away from you. The Ducks in this game, 0 for 5 on the power play. The Ducks have still not scored a power play goal, and in fact, they are one of only a handful of teams that has still not scored a power play goal. Those other teams, by the way, that have not scored a power play goal, as of right now, the Carolina Hurricanes and the Buffalo Sabres. That's it. That's the list. Those 3 teams have not scored a power play goal. So it is a little bit concerning that they just cannot put the puck through the net on that kind of setting. It is concerning, especially because I predicted that the Ducks would have a much better power play. So far, that hasn't happened. Not for a lack of trying. At least the movement is better, sort of. They are missing Jackson Lacombe, who is probably their best power play, I guess, quarterback that they're missing. And when he comes back, that creates a bigger question and problem, which is another concern. What are the Ducks going to do when Jackson Lacombe comes back? Which player is going to be the one that gets sent down to San Diego? Which one? Could it be Olin Zellweger that gets sent down? I'm not so sure. I'm really, really not so sure. Another concern that I have right now has to do with Cutter Gauthier, who still has not put the puck past the net yet. There's a little bit of targeting. I mean, there's just a lot of extracurricular stuff going on, and Gauthier seems to be in the middle of it. So I think I'm just concerned that Gauthier is off to a slow start so far, but again, team sports. But I do love the young guys that scored. Mintyukov, I legit got texts about Pavel Mintyukov during the game. One of those I'm going to read verbatim that says, like, wow, I was not familiar with this game. And I know exactly who that was that sent that. But some guys like Zellweger in the NHL too. So it's going to be really tough, Robyn, to figure out who gets sent down. I have no idea. So there we go. Aired out my concerns on that regard. What say you? What concerns, if any, do you have right now, or do you just want to talk about what's next?
I think the huge thing is exactly how, I've already asked the question in the beginning of the show. First of all, how Utah addresses the blue line, even with or without Sean Durzi. The blue line is still a huge question mark. Has a lot of concerns. I feel like there's holes that could easily be fixed in terms of allowing easy offensive zone entries that should not be allowed in most scenarios. It should be easy, taken care of, get in the neutral zone, but you're allowing easy entries into the offensive zone. Plus, penalty kill has been a little sus. It's kind of off and on. Special teams as a whole, there were signs of a good power play earlier on in the road trip. Particularly, I think like a near perfect power play. I think against New York. It's been off and on. This team, they need to kind of establish their identity a little bit more, and they're getting there. They're finding it.
Better to be off and on than completely off the whole time.
True.
I mean, I just talked about an abysmal power play so far. But again, small sample size. It's only been 3 games. 3 games. THREE.
3 games for Anaheim. 5 games for the Utah Hockey Club. Their record now goes to 3-1-1. The
Ducks are 2-1. The Ducks are 2-1. Yeah. What's up? Yeah.
But here's the thing. Now, if we take a look at what's coming up next, right? For Utah, they got a little bit of a homestand coming back. They're coming back, and later in the week, they got a home game against who many people predicted to be what's going to be Utah's biggest rival, or what it should be in terms of if you look at geographic wise, and same division in the Colorado Avalanche. They're coming up next. It's going to be, I think, to me, that's It's going to be a bit of a challenge, even despite the fact that Colorado has gone off to an abysmal start.
Yep, and I want to talk about that briefly because that's what's next for the Anaheim Ducks. You set it up perfectly, so thank you for that. The Anaheim Ducks' next game is Friday at Ball Arena against the Avs. The Avs are allowing almost or around 6 to 7 goals per game. Colorado is not playing with any defense whatsoever. So this is the Ducks' big opportunity to keep that going. Colorado has to get off the schneid somehow. But if the Ducks can take advantage of a somewhat dilapidated team, then, just try to get 6-7 goals and you're successful.
I will say as a quick clarification, Colorado is part of the homestand. They are not the next team up for the Utah Hockey Club. They are going to be, I think, they're going to be actually the last game of this homestand. They are next Thursday, so not this Thursday, but next Thursday. Next up on Utah's docket for the 2 games prior are against Boston and Ottawa.
Ooh. So the Ducks, as of right now, they've got their next 3 games. They got the road at Colorado. Then they got the 2 games against the other 2 California teams at home, the Kings and the Sharks. Then they've got a few days off before they embark on a long road trip. The annual New York road trip takes place in October this year. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Before they finally come back home on November 3rd to take on the Blackhawks. But we're just going to focus on really the next 3, 4, 5 games. And I just got to say, the Ducks' schedule, not like super easy, but it's conducive to winning for the Ducks.
I mean, it's beneficial when they're also in a division that's not very good.
Oh, no, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Yes, yes, I can.
Oh, heck no. We'd better finish soon before I start talking crap.
Anyways, no, but another thing I want to mention too. You kind of talked about the next 5 games. If I want to go extend things after Utah plays Colorado, they're on the road for a really quick stop to Los Angeles to play the Kings, and then they come back to Delta Center to play the San Jose Sharks, which is a game that I am considering making the flight up to Salt Lake City from Arizona.
If Macklin plays.
If he doesn't, then I am staying here in Arizona and then considering going another time. I will, Utah fans. Mark my word, though. I will make it up to Salt Lake City to get to a game live at the Delta Center this season. I will get it done.
Nice. That sounds like it could be a lot of fun for you.
And I do plan on doing a little, maybe like pregame party at one of the bars outside, maybe after game.
Ooh.
So, heck, you guys have been awesome, so why not? Why not treat some of the loyal fans who've been following me since day 1 of the Locked On Utah Hockey Club?
Yeah, why not? Have a drink or two. Enjoy good hockey.
Exactly, that's what it's all about. Enjoying good hockey.
Yeah. Which the Ducks are providing right now. Woot woot.
Anyways, any final thoughts before we close things off?
Good start by the youth. Lukáš Dostal is here to stay. Was there concern on this last game? Very slightly, but I think Dostal is going to be fine. And he's ready for that number 1 spot. Hey, by the way, 2 wins for Dostal this season. 2-0. Let's go.
Awesome. Well, that's going to be it for this episode of the Locked On Utah Hockey Club and Locked On Anaheim Ducks podcasts. If you like what you heard, don't forget to give us a review, to like, comment, subscribe if you have yet to already. All of us are available wherever you get your podcast, including on YouTube, SiriusXM. We're ad-free on Amazon Music for all you Prime subscribers. And Jason, where can everyone find you and the show on social media?
They can find me hanging around here at Acrisure Arena, home of the Coachella Valley Firebirds. Sorry, home of the back-to-back Western Conference champion, Coachella Valley Firebirds. One of those years they beat the Tucson Roadrunners. So just got to show off the banners. Booyah. You can also find me on Twitter X. I can see the look on your face. Twitter X. You can follow me at StimpyJD. The show's Twitter X is at LO_Ducks. And if you feel like emailing me, you could do so at lockedonanaheimducks@gmail.com. If you're a Coyotes fan, you probably already hate me. If you're a Utah fan, you know what? I am rooting for Utah to have at least a successful season. It's going to be fun to watch more of those home games because that crowd game 1 was electric. So don't hate me too much.
And for our show, you can follow me personally at Robyn_Leaño. The show is at LO_NHL Utah on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, on Threads and Instagram as well. Same. We're also on TikTok at LO_Utah Hockey. And then interact with us, ask a question. We might answer right back or on a future episode of the show. Also, to a call out to all of my listeners, and maybe if you are a Ducks fan who wants to get in a little bit of extra insider knowledge on the Utah Hockey Club, go ahead and sign up for our text club. You can send me a text to 801-760-9033. That's 801-760-9033 to get started. Send us any text, and we'll send you a text right back, and we'll give you the link to get things signed up. Your first 14 days will always be free. Get access to insider mailbag, access to exclusive audio and video, game notes, all of it, all on that text club. So you definitely want to be a part of it if you're looking to shore up your fandom for the Utah Hockey Club. But
I thought of a reason why Utah fans should not hate me, because technically, I was the first public address announcer for Utah Hockey Club in the rookie face-off in El Segundo. So does that really count? See, Dave Joseph and I have something in common now. We both announced Utah Hockey Club goals.
Sure, that works.
Sure, that works. You can also find me doing public address for the Coachella Valley Firebirds. Yeah, they heard me over there.
Fantastic. Anyways, once again, thanks everyone for listening to this special crossover episode. We'll see you guys next time.